Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Warriors of Chaos led by Professor Pone facing off against Bretonnia, who shall be helmed by Soy Bacta here on the Eastern Isle colony. And yes, the power fantasy is being lived. It's going to be Kholek with the dreaded Nurgle caster. And Kholek got some pretty decent buffs in this 5.1 patch. He did, of course, get a weapon strength buff, I believe, so he's up to 600 now. And Starcrusher, his item, also got some changes. So yeah, he is ready to go. As far as the walk army goes, it's going to be Mirror Guard and Chaos Warriors, so just kind of, standard rank and file infantry here. Going to trade well into Bretonnian troopers, but vulnerable to things like Grail Knights, Questing Knights, and the heavy hitters. But very tough and gives Kholek a nice platform to stand on and bonk things on the head. The rest of the army here is going to be Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch and Chaos Warriors, and I do like the choice of the Severed Claw. Severed Claw is an auto-take against Bretonnia. The one thing that they don't want to fight is going to be Foot Squires, but if they get to fight against like any of the Bretonnian Cav or characters, they will cut them to pieces and barely take any damage. And if you need to, you can also heal them with the Nurgle caster. Looking at the armies of Soy Bacta over here, it is going to be the Paladin as well as Henri Le Massif. And oh, cool, I like this. Henri's going to be brought on the big Hippogriff. Okay, that's a big anti-large fighter who can help out against Kholek. That ain't bad. Fey Enchantress with the Earthblood and Awakening of the Wood, that's what she said. Backed up by Battle Pilgrims, Spearmen at Arms, and the rest of the core is going to be some Foot Squires, Pilgrims, and Archers. So just very dynamic Bretonnian infantry core. And it's very, very standard for Bretonnia to open with this kind of gameplay here, right? You just get the old... you get the infantry swarm, and then you call in the cavalry in the mid-game. And I mean, they already have some big hard hitters here with the double Air Force. So yeah, Kholek's going to have his work cut out for him. So we'll do a little bit of fast-forwarding here while the players jockey for position and the engagements are soon to begin. And now the combat on Objective Uno is going to be beginning, while the Warriors of Chaos, of course, having the more tanky, resilient front line, are going to be anchoring this down. Warriors of Chaos are such a cool faction. They have, man, this color scheme is rad too. The kind of midnight blue of, I believe that's Bellacor's Legion. But here they come. Foot Squires engaging. Foot Squires will trade up into Chaos Warriors super, super hard. But of course, they would lose to things like Mirror Guard. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a pretty cost-effective fight. Starcrusher, he's a big angry Shaggoth, and he wants to get in and fight. He wants to bonk some things on the head. So here he comes, and he is going to be Mr. Bonk here as he does take some of the Spearmen at Arms to Pound Town, and will not be terror routing them because the Grail Relic is giving immune to psychology. Very, very nice. Now, Bretonnia dropping an Earthblood on the front line, trying to keep the troopers going strong, and we do see the Marauder Horseman, Professor Pone, battling the Paladin in the backfield. Paladin doing a good job screening, so really, really good decision-making there. Meanwhile, we do get Battle Pilgrims versus Mirror Guard, but also Henri Le Massif is there on his Hippogriff, so maybe going to be able to break through these Chaos Warriors with the help of the Foot Guard, looking a little bit dodgy for Professor Pone over here. Now, on the other side of things, the Star Crusher looks like he's going in the back. He's going somewhere. Going to be dropping, oh, the Tempest's Rage. He's at 96 leadership. Yeah, it does give where's his leadership sauce up? I was going to say, yeah, he tried to get that. Pone with a cheeky attempt there, but it did not work out. But yeah, 750 weapon strength. He's certainly going to do some big damage. And Chalice, oh no, he's going to run into his own Chalice, maybe? Okay, that did some collateral damage to both sides. Looks like it was a bit of an even spread. But the Warriors of Chaos are holding here, but the Knights of the Lionhearted have come in. Very, very good usage. Oh, Star Crusher's active. 1,000 weapon strength on Kholek. Let's go. And you can see he's just chunking the health out of these Knights of the Realm. I mean, he is a brutal anti-large fighter with high armor. He's going to be able to do some work depending on the circumstances. So on the back objective here, we still see the Warriors of Chaos, the Mirror Guard showing why they're so resilient, hanging out with the Chaos Warriors, and the Dragon Ogres are now going to be coming up. So Dragon Ogre is a pretty heavy metal unit, reasonably tanky with 40 melee defense and 60 armor. They do also have the scaly skin against some of the archers, and tabletop Dragon Ogres are insanely tanky. Very difficult to kill. They have some like magic resistances against magic missiles, they have really high armor saves, and they get a really good catch here as well. They actually catch this Paladin with their big beat stick, so they're trying to do big Papa Kholek proud. They all want to be his favorite kid here, and they're trying their best. Paladin get worked on. Chaos Warriors showing that they certainly are earning their keep. Of course, they are massively outnumbered, fighting Fey Enchanters, Henri Le Massif, and huge numbers of units here, but they're hanging in there buying time. As far as the objective goes, Kholek and company do cut through the Battle Pilgrims, and the Knights of the Lionhearted do get smashed up by the Star Crusher. Nurgle able to heal, so the Nurgle Sorcerer able to drop some love on Big Daddy Kholek, which is quite clutch. And as far as this objective goes, we do get some Chaos Warhounds from Pone and Chaos Warriors, but the Elite Battle Pilgrim Corps with the Grail Relic. Pretty massive. With that there, these units are all going to be immune to Kholek's terror, and they have just massive leadership and melee attack buffs. And now I think Pone realizes this and is going to be going for the kill. Probably wants to get these Severed Claw and these Chaos Warriors back on the point. And it looks like it is Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch. Bit of a curious choice. Battle Pilgrims, I do not think have physical resist. Let me go ahead and check here. No. So it just gives them the regenerating shields, which isn't the worst thing. Probably in this matchup, you want to go with Nurgle. Nurgle warriors would be better because they'd have the great opens against the cavalry as well. Or maybe you go with like Zinch Alberts or something. Who knows? As far as this side goes, the Drogers, the Dragon Ogres, fight against the Paladin, Henri Le Massif, and these things are trying to put the game on their back. They're doing very, very well. Excellent flank here from the Bretonnians, getting the Knights Errant right into the hides of those Marauder Horsemen. And granted, there's more where that came from. A couple of Marauder Horsemen units going to be encircling, getting their excellent throwing weapons into the Knights Errant, while old Dragon Ogre Goon Squad here, probably up to about 800 value at least. 1,000, yeah, they've been bonking on these characters. The two Paladins and Henri Le Massif just kind of being soloed by these Dragon Ogres. Thankfully for those two characters, there are some spears nearby supporting and doing some good, kind of side damage against the Dragon Ogres. But the cavalry pressure in the back is very good. The Knights Errant able to penetrate through, taking down two Marauder Horsemen in the process, or at least forcing them to rout while the other ones are trying to scatter and get their throwing axes in play. The Star Crusher, where is he going to go? Is he going to go after the Fey Enchantress? That is going to be Lord of the Storm coming in. I think he might just hit his own units here. Oh no, that's probably Chalice of Potions. Yeah, I think that's going to be the Fey Enchantress. That's going to do some big damage when it comes in. But the Tempest Rage is active, but the Fey Enchantress has been squeaking away every time, and she gets away once again. Every time Kholek comes in with the full chub, the Fey Enchantress does get away with some very nice cavalry micro. The Knights of the Realm going to be surrounding Kholek, and that's not a bad situation. Of course, the Knights of the Realm probably lose that, or I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be dodgy. If they get that full surround, and Kholek is not fighting back right now, he's actually just straight up running, it could go either way. We'll have to see. Now back on the home point here, we do see the objective in the clutches of the Warriors of Chaos, and now we get Armored Chaos Trolls out. They've always been amazing against Bretonnia. They crush pretty much all the infantry and trade super well into the cavalry if they're supported by their own ground-based troops. So I do like this call in here from the Pwn Dog, getting the Chaos Armored Trolls to help Big Daddy Kholek out, because the Bretonnian grind is just going very, very well. Fey Enchantress is now engaged for a Severed Claw. Severed Claw is battling Men-at-Arms and Faye, so yeah, Faye wants to get out of there. She's going to take a lot of unnecessary damage. This game is actually very close, both in terms of value and kind of points as well. Although Bretonnia does have the momentum on the objectives, there still are a lot of Marauder Horsemen, maybe going to be able to drag down these Knights of the Lionhearted with the throwing axes. We'll have to see. They're close to breaking 1,000 HP. They can't lose this objective. Pwn really, really can't afford to lose this. I think at this point, grabbing all three Marauder Horsemen and just charging into the Knights of the Lionhearted would probably be fine. You just have such an overwhelming amount of numbers that you could probably win that fight. Horsemen here trying to get the throwing axes to knock off these Foot Squires. But Kholek and company is still on that grind here. Working it through the Foot Squires here. We got some bonking. Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle is doing it, and the Armored Trolls have arrived. So now there's a lot more killing power here for the Warriors of Chaos. Oh man, the Trolls are picking those dudes up and putting them down. That is some serious damage right there. Fey Enchantress? Nope, that's not Fey. That is going to be some Nurgle magic, so that is going to be going down on who? Oh, Severed Claw. They actually lost a lot of HP, but are only missing one model, which is so savage. They're going to heal so much HP there, and it is incredibly hard to get through the Severed Claw. But I do like this. Bretonnia going to be going for an Alpha Strike here. We see the Paladin, we see Henri Le Massif, and we do also see the Knights of the Realm jumping on Kholek, and that could be a very precarious situation for the Mountain God. He is getting some big bonking damage on the Grail Relic there, and remember, Lord Unsummoning is gone. It's so nice. I'm so much happier now, man. It's great. This patch is awesome. But Kholek here is going to get a lot of damage on him. He's gotten about 2,000 value so far, so he's just about paid for himself. I believe he costs like 2,300, give or take. Depends on the items he brought. Pwn did bring a lot of items, so maybe he's a little bit more expensive than that. But he is getting hunted down, and he just used the Fleshy Abundance on the Severed Claw. So Kholek could be in danger. The Mountain God going to be hunted by the fair lads of Bretonnia. Oh, that's so cool. Look at Henri Le Massif and the Noble Knights hunting. Now, calling for old Pwn here. What's it going to be? It's going to be Aspiring Champions. They're actually pretty good against Bretonnia. They trade well into all the troopers, except Foot Squires, of course. But I think Kholek is going to get hunted down, so the Dragon Ogre Shaggy is going to be sent back. We'll see if his plot armor can save him, and maybe he'll come back later. Probably not, but potentially so. And the back point is in the clutches of Bretonnia. Probably with their questing knights and the defenders here, I think they're going to get it. Chaos Warriors with Great Opens are arriving. That is a good choice. They'll trade well into these units and sustain combat. And Kholek has fallen in the back, so the Warriors of Chaos are leaderless, and this is going to be a hell of a hard comeback right now. We're going to have to see what Wok can do to grind this one out. Severed Claw, chewing through those units, getting the help of some of the Warhounds here. Maybe going to be able to maneuver over. The Trolls really don't like seeing Kholek go down. They saw their big papa go down, and they are negative 16 leadership right now. So otherwise, they'd be very decent at 20 leadership, but now they're very flimsy because of Kholek dying. But honestly, this fight on this objective is looking very, very Chaos favored. Despite Kholek dying, the value is still very close. I think the Severed Claw and the Armored Trolls are really, really bashing a lot of the Bretonnians. Like, all the troopers on this point are getting wrecked. And looking at Bretonnia, they have a big presence over here on the side. Yeah, this is where all their money is. The Questing Knights, as well as the Defenders of Fleur de Lis. Marauder Horsemen and Chaos Warriors going to be pushing up on those units. Chaos Warriors may be capable of pushing off the Questing Knights. Yeah, for sure. Because the Marauder Horsemen, this is actually really brutal. The Marauder Horsemen have used their mass to trap a ton of the Chaos Knights, and the Chaos Warriors are following them and just cutting them to pieces. That is a colossal amount of models that's going to be lost, and could be a big turning point in this game. We're going to have to see. Those guys are getting Shrek'd pretty good and are going to be fleeing the scene. Questing Knights trying to get away, but there are 44 models, but like half those models are stuck back here and being massacred. That's got to feel really bad for Soybacta here. That's got to feel bad. Back on this point, the Warriors of Chaos are also anchoring this down, and the Severed Claw is carrying this game. And Fae Enchantress, she's staying in combat probably because she's trying to Mortis Engine down these units, but it's not worth staying here. I think that the Fae probably needs to maneuver away, get the Fae Enchantress, head over to this side of the battlefield, use her Mortis Engine on a safer engagement, where you have your Questing Knights, different units like that, because over here it is really, really dodgy. And the Nurgle Sorcerer getting a Fleshy Abundance on himself, or no, Overcasted, that's so much value. The 2 units of Aspiring Champions healed up to full, Armored Trolls getting a Colossal heal as well. And I don't know if Bretonnia is going to be able to get this back. You know, we do see the Pegasus Knights coming in, Royal Pegasus Knights. I think maybe bringing the Royal Pegasus Knights to try and crush these trolls over here would be the correct play. A couple more Chaos Warriors are going to be on the way in. Professor Pone doesn't use the lame Chaos Marauders. He uses the real warriors. That's what it's all about here. But Lance Formation, oh god, not the hiccups. Lance Formation coming in, and they're going to run straight into some angry Great Weapons. And Great Weapons are pretty good against Cavalry, much like in Tabletop. Great Weapons, honestly, in Tabletop, Great Weapons are straight up better than Halberds against Cavalry, because Halberds are only Strength +1 with -1 AP. So a Chaos Warrior with, and it's not like they get any bonus for big targets. Whereas Great Weapons just hit last, they have low initiative, but they're usually a higher strength with more AP, so they will kill Cavalry more effectively. But that's just Tabletop. Although the Halberds, yeah, because Cavalry always have higher initiative than you in Tabletop anyway, so like you might as well just have Great Weapons. Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely, I'm not a big Halberd enjoyer. I'm a little bit disappointed about them in Tabletop, but you know, it is what it is. So, Chaos Trolls bashing away, and we do see just waves and waves of Bretonians being marched to their doom, and I don't think they're going to be able to get through this core. And oh god, the Mountain God is going to come back. I just noticed his Pone is banking his supplies, 2,300. So he probably went full kit Kholek, which is like 2,500 gold if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to be seeing big Kholek coming back here, which will probably break the back of the Bretonians. Currently, as it stands, it's a really, really close game on points. I believe that Professor Pone would win on his 2 points right now, as long as he doesn't lose one again. Here we see the Royal Pegasus Knights getting a nice rear charge into the back of the Chaos Warriors, who are at 2 leadership. Potentially going to be breaking. We'll have to keep tabs on that one. So Warriors cruising over, Knights of the Realm running interference. Is a good play from the Bretonians, trying to keep the Warriors from arriving over at the other point, but it looks like these Knights of the Realm are going to be wavering, and the Warriors of Chaos are going to be trying to get to Objective 3. Kholek is back. Who needs a hero? Here he is. Let's go. Kholek's going to be charging across 244 value, or kills, and he got 2169. That's what she said in his first life. So can the Warriors get to that point and salvage it? He might just get trapped up by these Pegasus Knights again. Honestly, the Pegasus Knights could probably just charge Kholek, but will the Warriors arrive in time? Yes, I think they will. Kholek pops all of his abilities, the Star Crusher and Tempest Rage, 90 melee attack, and 1,000 weapon strength. Kholek, it is clobbering time. He is Hulk Smash right here, and we're going to see if he can solo all this. It's going to be a very, very tough fight. But Walk has got this area on lock. Like, there's no amount of DPS Bretonnia can really field here that can get through the Severed Claw, the Nurgle Sorcerer Trolls, and another Aspiring Champion. So pretty much is everything is going to come down to this point here. Kholek going to be dropping Lord of the Storm here on top of the Chaos, the Spears. Arguably dropping it on the Knights here might have been better, although I guess there weren't that many of them, and these ones were on the move, so that wasn't a bad play. But yeah, Kholek does get some Hound support, which is very, very clutch. The Hounds, of course, aren't going to live terribly long, but they're providing a Blade of Wounds. Like, all the Cavalry that normally would be hitting Kholek are going to be, potentially hitting the Chaos Warhounds too, which is saving a ton of his HP. So Pone probably just going to be spamming out Horsemen and crappy units, and right now Pone will win on 2 objectives. But if he loses Objective 3 for like even a minute, it could get really dodgy and then become a Bretonian game. Knights of the Lionhearted are going to be on their way in. Bretonnia pretty good in the late game. Getting their mobility down is going to be very strong. The Star Crusher working on the Pegasus Knights. And yeah, working him down. He has gotten quite a bit of value so far, 3,400. Certainly paying for himself, or at least he will probably before the game's over. Chaos Warriors here, holding a really, really cost-effective unit. They're 750 gold cost, price point. Makes them one of the better heavy infantry units in the game, which is how it should be, right? There was times where they were just kind of crappy and overcosted, but I feel like Chaos Warriors are in a very nice spot for what they do. Granted, Marauder spam is still very good too. Marauders are, incredibly good for what they do also. But Kholek, he's trying his best, man. He knows this is the clutch area. Knights of the Lionheart are getting a fully erect charge into the Chaos Armored Trolls. 110 armor, though, might hold up. And when the Hounds get there, that is going to be changing. I think if the Chaos Trolls were on their own here, they might end up losing that if they didn't get reinforcements soon. But the Hounds coming in, the little Hound support, and the fact that they're anchoring and staying in combat is so big. Because now these Knights of the Lionhearted are poisoned. There's extra, Hounds in there. You can see that Hound taking a lance attack. That's one less anti-large attack that the Chaos Armored Trolls have to take. And if you guys are newer to the game, typically when you want to use monstrous infantry, they can stand on their own, of course, but having them stacked on top of infantry or, smaller things that they can all get their attacks in together is the breadwinner. So I think these Chaos Armor Trolls might be doing it. Yeah, so they push back the Knights of the Lionhearted. We do see some Knights Errant coming in, but Pwn is going to reroute those Chaos Armored Trolls over, and they're going to win that fight. And the Star Crusher, the Mountain God, has done it. He has broken through the Bretonnian lines. Huge hammer time as he just crushes two of those Pegasus Knights. I wish he was in tabletop. I hope Warriors of Chaos get like a huge Shaggoth character when they get their Arcane Journal. 4,200 value on Kholek. Chaos Warriors holding all frickin' day against those units. And over here, we see a decisive victory for the Warriors of Chaos as well. And I'm pretty sure that's just GG. I mean, I don't see how these Yeomen and these Spearmen at Arms and these other Haggard units do it. I think it's just going to be impossible. So Kholek taking him to Starcrusher Town, man. He's taking him to the UK to Poundland, getting that sweet discount. And yep, Tempest Rage, Starcrusher going to chase those units off. They're going to maneuver over and try a desperate attempt on this objective here. Pwn with a bit of a mistake, actually. He pushes off his objective. He actually didn't need to do that. He could have just comfortably sat on his home point here. Like, in a very close game, that could have actually lost him the game. And this is very close, but I mean, if it were a little bit tighter, and if he was able to get this point. But Kholek and the Trolls are going to be arriving. That will buy him much needed time. He's got his back objective under control as well. And overall, I mean, maybe is going to be threatening this point with his 10 capture weight against his opponent's 2. So I think Pwn is still going to pull this one out. He's at 1466. He does stabilize his point with Kholek and company, but that was a very, very dodgy moment. That could have been incredibly scary. So GG, well played. The Mountain God does it. Kholek Sun Eater crushing stars. That was very fun. What a great game between those two players. That was a tournament match from a couple days ago, maybe a week ago. I can't remember, but yeah, solid match there. And love to see Kholek in action. That's freaking awesome. 891. Warriors performed very well. Severed Claw, 2,700. They always do that in that matchup. They are so incredibly powerful. Bretonnia really struggles to kill them. I mean, Foot Squires are like your only functional answer, really. And yeah, Armored Trolls did great. Dragon Ogres at 1,700. Very cool old school Chaos build. It performed well. And for Bretonnia, I love seeing Henri Le Massif on his big Hippogriff. I thought that was incredibly cool. And looking at the value elsewhere, I think there was a couple engagements, like maybe if the Pegasus Knights had been used to kill those Armored Trolls on the side objective, he could have overwhelmed it. There was. I'd have to go back in retrospect and see. But overall, really well played to both these players. And that is going to be it for tonight.